Annie was our first post-war baby, born 1946, on a cold July night in Crow's Nest. By then she had 2 older sisters in place. We all went to the Pechey State School, where the most memorable teacher was prone to great globs of arse-licking of our formatively educated parents. Yes, Mrs. Pechey, but you see, Mrs. Pechey, we used to suppress giggles and count the number of Mrs. Pecheys in his after-school, through-the-car window conversations with our mother. But it was the last teacher at Pechey State School that was the most influential. He really set her on the path to disobedience. Crow's Nest High Top started just the year she needed it. She distinguished herself for naughtiness and general mucking about. Then to BGGS for her final 2 years, where the general questioning of authority was even more apparent. Not sure she wasn't almost sent home for skiving off downtown, but she was still going gangbusters with the intellectual stuff and went into UQ for an arts degree. Dramsock and pole science occupied most of her energy, and 1968 was memorable for a couple of trips to the watch house, something Dad never admitted to being fairly proud of. His not-too-fun years in the AIF had turned him into a pacifist, a very secret pacifist given the punch packed by the RSL in small-town life. Annie and Rob went to North America on scholarships and came back a couple of years later with new postgrad degrees and pregnant, but not married. Of the 4 parents, only Rob's gentle father didn't give a hoot. Salish was born on Annie's birthday in 1972. Time out of Australia had taught Annie about civil disobedience in spades, but the most important philosophy she imbibed was think globally, act locally. Pacifism, environmentalism, women's rights and op-shop clothing were quite hard to swallow in Crow's Nest and GM. She didn't get an easy ride sometimes. After 2 girls, Salish and Star, Rob went in another direction and Annie came home to Listening Ridge with Pete. They had 2 more children, Lily and Jarrah. Their relationship with Dad on matters agricultural was not entirely comfortable, and they eventually moved off the farm to GM. At about the time the 2 oldest girls left home, Annie discovered a lump in her breast. She rejected mainstream medicine and opted for various natural medicines, those offered by friends and neighbours, vegetable juice and positive thinking. For all of us, it was a slow, horrible slide out of our lives, and we buried her on the farm, just out back of the house. The tree, a South African, well out of its comfort zone, still struggles to survive over her ashes.